So let's see how we can install VirtualBox and VMware on our environment. So VirtualBox download is the search phrase we use. Simply we can navigate to the virtualbox.org/wiki/downloads. Here, if your operating system right now on your laptop or PC is Windows operating system, move forward and install this. So you download this exe file right here, it's 100 megabytes, and then you click on it, next install, everything is fine. If you are on OS X or Mac OS X, you can get the DMG right here again and install it on your Mac. Of course, you know how to install it. If you are on Linux, you can either navigate in here and install whatever distribution you are on, or you can simply let me navigate to our shell. So I can do sudo apt update and sudo apt install VirtualBox, of course, and also VirtualBox-dkms. So it has some steps to follow. Let's navigate to our site, hackers.exposed, and navigate down here on our ethical hacking course, right here. So it's on Udemy. You can go and check it out. It's a 40 hours course. I will explain to you what is going on in here. But for now, know that on Udemy there's a course called Applied Ethical Hacking and Rules of Engagement. Why I told you to come here? We were talking about VirtualBox, of course. So you want to see how to install VirtualBox on your host. So this is how to do it. You can, without buying this course, go and click on the preview section. So right here on the second video that is previewed, so you don't have to pay for anything. I see I'm not logged in into my Udemy account. I can see it freely of any charge right here. So click on virtual environment lecture and follow this lecture all together. It will show you how to install VirtualBox on Linux and also how to install it on Windows. And the Mac OS X version is also covered in this lecture in here. Or you might be guided through how to do it. So that's why I wanted you to see this lecture in here and follow the installation of VirtualBox that you download from this download page in here. So that's it about VirtualBox. How we install the VMware version. Let's open another tab and search for VMware Player Download. I'm intentionally showing you the searches because searching in ethical hacking is really important. So VMware Player, let's see what do we have. So you have to know how to search for what you need, search for your errors. So here is VMware Workstation Player, which is free of charge. As opposed to the Pro version, the player is totally free. So for Windows users, navigate in here. For Linux users, of course, navigate in here. So you see the download is started, it's 215 megabytes. The Linux is also 167 megabytes. So I canceled because I have already downloaded these files and installed VMware on my Linux, of course. So the installation is really simple. You download the file in Windows, click on it, next install. On Linux, you just download it and do chmod +x to make it executable. So VMware, blah blah, whatever the name is, bundle, I think the file was .bundle, something like that. So you make it executable, and then on the next line you just call it, and this is how you execute this file and install it. So where is the Mac OS version? This is where we have to search again. So I want you to be a good searcher. VMware Player for Mac OS. Let's see what do we have. It says we have a Fusion Pro and Player version for this. So this is what I wanted you to see. You can download the Fusion version, but the Player one. So there's a Pro and Player. We want the Player one. So here's the Pro. I think you have to pay for it. And the Player version is totally free. Register for personal use. License. Move forward with this. Download your VMware for your Mac. Install it on your Mac and get ready for the next part, which is the installation of the attacker machine as we have on the steps. So virtualization technology was the first one. Let me enable most mode in my tmux. And so the attacker machine, parrot OS, and also the victims. All that should be either on VMware or VirtualBox. So that's it. Download VMware, install it on your box, and get ready for the next part. Okay, what is next? Let's see our steps. Let me close this. So if you are curious about how to configure this tmux, this beautiful shell that can be expandable vertically, horizontally, you can, let's say for example, you have done a set command, something like that, and you want to go up. So in tmux, you can just navigate through your shell just like a text editor, you see, like this. Control S will search for whatever you want. For example, I can search for prompt, enter, click N or press N and find all the prompts in this buffer. In 259 buffer, which is the number of the lines we have, 259 lines, and we are on this line right here. So you see 139. So tmux has a lot of features. You can enter a new window in here. You see the uptime of this system, your battery charge, the time and hour, the date, and the user, the host name, whatever you have, it is presented to you. It also, this is the ZSH shell that we have in here. It's totally customizable. So where we can have this shell, navigate to our other course in here. It is also covered in this course, but we have another course about Linux. So in here we cover all these tweaks and enhancements and also a lot of basics. So you see more than 200 modern practical Linux tools, and also you're going to learn shell scripting somehow for your small projects, small to medium projects. So why I wanted you to navigate to this course, there's a part inside the preview also for you without any payments. So on the preview, you can navigate to Linux OS installation lecture. It will show you how to install Kali Linux with the VirtualBox technology. That's it. We have the full explanation in here about how to install Kali Linux on VirtualBox. So your VirtualBox might be on your Mac OS, on your Linux, or on your Windows. It doesn't matter. We show you how to install Kali Linux over the virtualization technology of VirtualBox. So just navigate to the udemy.com and go for applied Linux command line and shell scripting in the search. Also for our other course, you can search inside udemy.com for applied ethical hacking and rules of engagement and go for the preview lecture and see it without any charges. But in here, you can also navigate to the hackers.exposed, which is our website, and follow the links in here for your previews. So let's continue to have VMware technology for the installation of Parrot OS, because the Kali Linux with VirtualBox is covered in here, and I just want you to see something new than these previewed lectures. We are on step number 2, Parrot OS security or Parrot Security OS installation. So we covered Kali Linux with referring you to that link, and please go and see that. It's really cool. Let's cover the Parrot Security OS. So I'm assuming that you have installed VMware on your box. Regardless of your host operating system, you have the VMware technology with you. So run it and continue with me. So here we have VMware Player. Let's run it. And yeah, here is the VMware application. I want to create a new virtual machine. So again, on any operating system you are, the steps on your VMware app is the same. Use SOMH as the source of the installation. So my source address is in here, but there's a note. There is Parrot Security OS ISO file, and I haven't shown you how to download it for now. It's really simple. Let's navigate back to our browser, and yeah, go to Google, search download Parrot Security OS, and for the Kali part, if you wanted to install Kali, as it is explained in this preview lecture down here, but again I want you to just see it with me, you just say download Kali Linux. That's it. It will show you the download link for the ISO file. You have to go and grab, yeah, it says VirtualBox 64-bit. Oh, it will give you the OVA also. You can import it inside VirtualBox or VMware, so no installation is needed. And bare metal is when you want to install it yourself. So here's the installer. You can download the file. It's 4 gigabytes for 64-bit version, and we have 32-bit also. You can, I think, find that somewhere in this page. But anyway, that's the Kali part. We have covered that. I just want you to go to the parrotsec.org/download, and here's the Parrot OS download page. Get Home Edition. It has not security related edition and a security specific or focused version also in here. So go get security version, select the server. I think it can be done automatically. Yeah, right here you see down the page the ISO file is addressed. Go and download this file and come back to this video. I think it's about 4.2 gigabytes. So download this and come back. Pause the video, download this, and come back to this lecture in here. Okay, I assume that you have downloaded the ISO file, address it in your VMware player as use ISO image. Click Next. It says what is the guest operating system. So it is Linux, and the base of Kali Linux and Parrot OS, both of them are the Debian distribution. So Debian 10X 64-bit is my choice. Next. You could also choose generic Linux, you see in here, other Linux, and you just specify the kernel version. So 5.x and later kernel, 64-bit. You can also click that. Next. So the name of the machine is Attacker Parrot Sec OS. And it says I'm going to store this virtual machine in this address, home, 2p is my username, and the VMware folder. Next. So maximum disk size is 8 gigabytes. I'm going to increase it to 100 gigabytes since Nexpose needs at least 100 gigabytes of disk space. Also, as a precaution, I want to increase it to 120, and I wanted this to be a single file, not multiple files. So customizing the hardware, you can customize it. How much RAM? 248. But the problem is we need 8 gigabytes of RAM for Nexpose, so I'm going to increase it to 8000, about 8 gigabytes. My laptop has 16 gigabytes of RAM, so it's okay to increase it to 8 gigabytes. If you don't have enough memory for this part, just enter 2048 for 2 gigabytes of RAM, and then move forward with the rest of the lectures. And for the Nexpose part, you will not be capable of installing it because it needs at least 8 gigabytes, and you have to go for the installation of OpenBAS, which is totally explained in our ethical hacking course right here. So I have the RAM, I put 8000, it's okay. The processors, it can be whatever number of processors you support. You can virtualize CPU performance counters. So the CD-ROM is simulated with this ISO file. The networking is NAT, it is okay. The sound card and others. Everything is fine. Let's move forward. Automatically power on this machine after creation. This, of course. So Control-Alt-Enter will enter full screen mode for this machine. So we have live mode, terminal mode, persistence, encrypted persistence, and others. We have install, and we have advanced options. So we go to install, standard installer, install with GTK. I think graphical install is the best. So I can press Ctrl-Alt to have my mouse again and unpin this. So you can pin or unpin this part. This is the installation of Parrot OS again. So you see the display of this virtual machine is really small, and we will fix these problems with VMware tools after the OS is installed. You will see what I mean. The language is English, United States, American English. You choose whatever you want based on your language and desired settings. So it supports most of the languages. So it's detecting the network hardware. It says enter the root password. I put the password of password for now. Enter it again, password of password. Next. Okay, you have to create a user, so ParrotOS will work with that. For the name, I want to enter hackers, something like that, or hackers.exposed, which is our domain. You can put Kevin, Michael, whatever you want. The username, I want it to be hackers. Yeah, it is accepted. So choose a password. I put the password of password again. You put a strong password if you want. So the time zone be Eastern, no problem. Continue. So it's detecting disks. You go for the partitioning part, which is real simple. It is guided, or you can encrypt it. I don't want to encrypt for now. For our Kali Linux installation, on that preview lecture in our course, in our other course, you will see the encrypted installation also. But in here, I want to continue with defaults. So write changes to the disk, yes, continue, everything is fine. It will do the partitioning for us and get ready to install the OS on it. So you see installing the system, it starts to transfer all the files as the kernel of the Linux, the core system tools or packages that is required for the Linux OS to be up and running, and also a lot of secondary tools or security tools for the Parrot OS for the purpose of our ethical hacking projects, penetration testing projects, or red teaming projects is done. Okay, as our copying data to disk step is moving forward on our Parrot OS installation, I just wanted you to save the time and go for the download of your victim machines, or let's say your laboratory machines. So in here, if you see, we had install our attacker OS, so which is something that we are doing right now, but we have install our victim OS, Metasploitable 3, Windows 2000, so Win2K8, Windows 2008, the R2 version, and Ubuntu 14, I think, yeah, 14 is the VMs in here. Also, we wanted you to go to the HTTP environment, which I will show you. But for now, I will put these addresses in the resources of this lecture. But navigate to this address, app.vagrantup.com, Rapid 7 boxes, Metasploitable 3, Win2K8 for the Windows 2000 R2, and the same address, Metasploitable 3, Ubuntu 14.01. So these addresses, let's go and see what is going on in here. Start the download as our installation is moving forward. So go to the browser, enter the address Win2K8 and the same address with Ubuntu, I think. Let's check it out. Yeah, UB1404. So UB1404. Let's see if the addresses are correct. So they are both correct. We can download these machines. We could do it with Vagrant. Vagrant is an application and also organization for downloading a lot of VMs, but you can do the installation manually like this. So we are working with VMware. Go and download this file right now. And also for the Ubuntu version, go and download the VMware. So these are the exports of Ubuntu and Windows 2008, which are intentionally vulnerable, and they are called Metasploitable 3. So it has VMware Pro version, VMware Player version, all for download. You can import these into your VMware technology or application. And also, if you were okay with the VirtualBox, go and download the VirtualBox version. So again, if you are on VMware, download the VMware. If you have VMware Pro, download this one. If you are on VirtualBox, download this one. It's really self-explanatory. This is for the Windows, and for the Linux, again, if you are on VMware, these files, and if you are on VirtualBox, this file right here. So click on it. It will go for the download process. As you see, I'm clicking here. So it will start the download. The files are big. Click on them as the installation is going on. So we have to be multitask to save the time. So I have already downloaded these files, so I cancel it. Pause the video and come back here after your downloads are done. Okay, I assume that you have downloaded the files and ready to move forward with me. So add an extension of the .tar to your files. This is what you should do about them. This is how I figure it out. So we put .tar, and regardless of the OS you are in, open the files with your compression tool. Whatever, if you have 7Z, if you have WinRAR, or whatever compression tool, open these tar files, or you can click and say extract if it has on your menu right here. If it doesn't, open them with your extraction program, or let's say archive program, compression program, and extract the files in the place that you want to import them inside VirtualBox or VMware, whatever it is. These are the VMware files I have downloaded because we worked with VMware in this lecture or in this course. So see, it takes a lot of time because it's 7 gigabytes. I can also open the other one. So I will pause the video and come back after this extraction is done. Okay, create two folders. One is Win2K8 right here, and the other one is Ubuntu 14.04. So this is the Ubuntu one. I want to extract it right here. And for the Windows, I go here and say, okay, extract it for me in here. So it will take some time. I will come back as these extractions are done. So you do the same on your OS. Extract these files that you have downloaded from vagrantop.com so you know what is happening right now. We are on, let's see, we are on the step 3, which is install our victim OS. So we are setting up our lab environment. This is what is happening in here. We have a Windows 2008 and we have a Ubuntu for our laboratory. And also we have the entire HDB environment to work with. And I will show you how. Let's go back to the extraction. You see extraction is ongoing. So here is our folder. Let's go to our installation of Parrot OS to see what is happening. Yeah, it says install grub bootloader. So grub is what manages what OS to boot, what kernel to boot first, and all that. So we say yes, install grub for me. Yes, on devSTA. So as you see, we are multitasking, doing multiple things together to be much more productive and efficient. So finishing the installation, that's how easy you can install Parrot OS or Kali Linux, of course. The installations are the same, but you have the preview of that lecture to follow if you had any problems. So let's get back to our folder, to the extraction. You see it is done. So the extractions are done. Let's navigate back, close these archives, and also the Parrot OS installation is completed. So continue, it will restart the machine. So it's okay. Let's go to our folder. We have Parrot OS, Kali Linux ISO files, and we have Ubuntu folder right here and Windows folder right here. So with VMware, it's only enough for us to run the VMX files. So we run the VMX files and VMware Player will do the rest for us. Okay, I have turned off my Parrot OS operating system inside VMware. So let's go to the Ubuntu. As you remember, we extracted the files and we say open with VMware Player. That's it. It will start the machine for us. So it's an Ubuntu 14.04 version with a lot of variable services ready for us to exploit. So momentarily, the username and password is Vagrant on both operating systems. So I will do sudo ifconfig. You see the IP address is 192.168.85.131. So let's note that right here, the Parrot attacker machine. So 192.168.85. This was 130. Let's copy this. Ubuntu Meta 3 machine is 1, and of course I think the Windows 2008 Meta 3 machine would be the next IP based on DHCP technology or protocol. So that's it. These are our IP addresses. Let's turn off this machine for now. Yes. So let's power it off. It seems to have problem. Power off. Yes. And go for the Windows. So right here, go to the Windows folder and say run VMX file with VMware Player. I personally like VirtualBox over VMware, but in here we just wanted to have a different way of working with technologies regarding virtualization. So the windows will be starting momentarily. It says send control alt delete to me. I can enter administrator or vagrant. Both of them are administrator users or join to the administrator group. The password of both are vagrant. And as you see, it is up and running. So I close this one, open another, let's see, VMware player. And you will see our machines are imported. We have the profiles. Everything is fine. So Parrot OS, Metasploitable this, and Win2K8. So for the Ubuntu one, let's see the settings. So it has 2 gigabytes of RAM in my environment, 1 CPU. The network adapter is NAT. Everything is fine. Hard disk was 40 gigabytes. So the Windows machine is preparing my desktop. So the Windows OS is also up and running and ready to be exploited or do ethical hacking techniques on it. So power off this one, yes. And that's it. We have the VMs set up and we are ready to go for the next steps. Okay, so we wanted to have HTTP environment with us. So I want to explain to you what it is. So hack the box or HTTP is, hackthebox.eu. This is the environment that will give you a lot of options to work with. It has a lot of machines, a lot of challenges to work with. You see, you do an OpenVPN connection to their environment after sign up. It is totally free. It has some subscriptions for various types of features, for retired machines, for professional laboratories and stuff like that. But there is a lot of free machines, challenges, end games, and a lot of stuff to work with. So on our ethical hacking course, we have a section about doing practical pen tests with CTFs. So you see in here, we will work on a lot of machines inside HTTP. We have a preview also for one of them, which in this video, we write a powerful Python script for doing exploitation on one of the machines. It will do some brute force and also injection at the same time. So there's a Python code or coding going on in this video, as you see in here. So we are solving a machine inside HTTP in this lecture in here. But let's continue with our laboratory in here. We have a Parrot OS, we have Ubuntu and Windows 2008 all together. So we will continue on reconnaissance, working with some cool tools and see how we can extract information regarding our target.